Good afternoon. Please take your seats. Our program will resume shortly. Please take your seats. As a reminder, please silence all communication devices. Our program is about to begin. Thank you. Please welcome the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Columbus, Ohio Mayor Andrew Ginther.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to present the 2025 Mayor's Climate Protection Awards. We assemble here today to recognize 11 award-winning mayors for their climate and energy leadership, for successful local action, and for their efforts to address our climate challenges. This is our 19th year honoring mayors with our Mayor's Climate Protection Awards. Mayors all across the country are showing how local action makes a difference. These awards honor mayors for this local action. All of this is made possible through our partnership with Walmart. We thank them for their continuing support of this mayoral leadership. Joining us today to honor this year's award winners is the Group Director for Community Relations at Walmart. He will talk about Walmart's longstanding efforts to reduce its energy use and climate impacts, noting especially its journey to 100% renewable energy. We're so grateful for Walmart's commitment to climate leadership, for their support of this partnership honoring mayors with these awards. Please join me in welcoming a great champion at Walmart for this important work, Javier Angulo. Javier?
Good afternoon, mayors. Wow, it was such a privilege to be one of the first speakers at this conference, so it's always great to be home with all of you. So I'm happy to represent Walmart today and have the opportunity to recognize the great work of mayors around the country on the issue of climate protection. Walmart aims to be a regenerative company working to embed sustainability, efficiency, and surety of supply across our enterprise and value chain. That approach is good for our business, our customers, and the planet. Like all of you, we know people want to take care of the communities, their neighborhoods, and each other. We need to make the actions easy, efficient, useful, and also affordable. And we need to invest in the systems that can set us up for a more regenerative future. That's where Walmart can play a unique role. In 2005, our then CEO, Lee Scott, delivered a speech titled 21st Century Leadership. This speech outlined a visionary path for Walmart, recognizing the vital connection between our business successes and our responsibility towards our communities and the planet. From this vision, we set up an ambitious aspiration to be powered by 100% renewable energy, to generate zero waste, and to sell merchandise that sustains both people and the planet. Today, nearly 20 years after that pivotal speech, I'm proud to share the incredible progress we've made. We committed to achieving 50% renewable energy by 2025, and we're on track to meeting that goal. This commitment not only enhances energy access, cost, and resilience for our business, but also demonstrates our efforts to reduce operational emissions, aligning with the necessary trajectory to stay within a 2-degree world. Our zero waste goal, achieving 90% waste diversion, is within reach for Walmart US and Walmart and Sam's Club US. Additionally, we've made significant strides in managing, protecting, and restoring 50 million acres of land and 1 million square miles of ocean, pivotal for sourcing key commodities like row crops and seafood. Thanks to our suppliers, we met our Project Gigaton goal to reduce, avoid, or sequester a billion metric tons of greenhouse gases 6 years early. So fast forwarding 20 years from Lee's speech to today, our purpose hasn't changed: to help people save money and live better. By living better, we mean enabling people to be healthier, to build their wealth, and strengthen communities and the planet. So as we continue to drive our aspiration to become a regenerative company forward, we need your help to bring these goals to reality by the end of 2025 and beyond. So let me leave you with this. Leadership and stewardship go hand in hand at Walmart. As we continue to evolve our work, I ask you to seek us out. Seek us as your partners. As I mentioned, we're here to help people save money and live better. And that final bit, live better, is going to require all of us to come together again and again and again. So congratulations to our winners. Your innovations are key to building a better future. And thank you to all of you, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, for everything you've done over the last 20 years. Thank you very much.
Javier, thank you and Walmart for your strong support of this long-standing climate partnership. Now it's time to present our 2025 Mayor's Climate Action Protection Awards. I'd like to first recognize our honorable mention winners in the small city category. Our first honorable mention winner is Littleton Mayor Kyle Schlachter. Mayor Schlachter is being honored today for his city's Tri-Cities Intergovernmental Agreement on Sustainability. This program brings 3 Colorado cities together to leverage resources to advance sustainability initiatives and results. By pooling their efforts and resources, they were able to provide technical assistance and educational outreach to help their commercial emitters become more sustainable, supporting them in adopting best practices. Mayor, congratulations on this award. Our next awardee is North Glen Mayor Meredith Leidy for her city's Core Green Building certification. North Glen's new City Hall is a fully electric, net zero energy municipal facility, which pursued a Core Green Building certification. In fact, It's the first core certified building in Colorado and one of the first municipal buildings in the nation to achieve this certification. Mayor Leidy, congratulations. Next, Piscataway Mayor Brian Waller is being recognized for his city's Piscataway Goes Green. This program seeks to transform energy usage and reduce carbon emissions through a range of sustainability measures. Informed by the city's experiences in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy, this initiative focuses on lowering energy expenses and carbon emissions by improving the sustainability and resiliency of public services for the community. Notably, this effort was partially funded by the Investment Tax Credit Direct Pay Program, established under the Inflation Reduction Act. Congratulations, Mayor Waller. I feel like I'm at a Rutgers basketball game. Our next awardee is Redmond Mayor Angela Burney. She's being honored for her city's climate resiliency and sustainability vegetation management. This initiative focuses on implementing a plan that supports climate resiliency and sustainability of natural systems managed and maintained by the City of Redmond. This holistic approach to sustainable vegetation management helps the city expand its tree canopy, grow native ecosystems, rewild areas across the city, and reduce pesticide use and emissions in its operations. Mayor, congratulations for your continuing leadership. Our last Small City Award winner, our first place awardee, is Colton Mayor Frank Navarro for his Urban Heat Resilience Program. This initiative is aimed at mitigating the urban heat effect and enhancing community resilience to extreme heat events. To tell us more about his winning program, let's hear directly from Mayor Navarro.
Good afternoon to all of you. I apologize that I could not attend the U.S. Conference of Mayors in person to accept this prestigious award. I want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors of Walmart for honoring the City of Colton as the recipient for the 2025 Small Cities Mayors Climate Protection Award for our Urban Heat Resilience Program. The City of Colton's Urban Heat Resilience Program exemplifies a proactive approach to climate adaptation to protect its residents and our environment. As we are all aware, heat is becoming more frequent and severe due to climate change. The City of Colton recognized this threat and launched the Urban Heat Resilience Program to protect its residents and environment. The program goals focus on reducing urban heat island effect. It aims to increase community resilience, especially for vulnerable populations. And central to this initiative is the Urban Forest Management Plan, which is a strategic vision to increase tree canopy from 7% to 30%. Urban Forestry and Tree Canopy Plan calls for planting a diverse mix of healthy, sustainable trees across Colton, parks, parkways, arroyos, and open spaces. Trees offer more than shade. They improve air quality, reduce surface temperatures, and provide aesthetic and economic benefits. The city values its urban forest and sees it as a community asset. The city partnered with the Robert Redford Conservancy to perform a climate vulnerability assessment, with the key findings being increased temperatures, higher energy consumption, and health risks for at-risk populations. This assessment shaped targeted interventions to improve resilience and reduce emissions. Community engagement and partnerships through various education programs is critical to the success of our program. In order to raise awareness, promote climate action, the city also partnered with the Tree People and local utilities to plant over 500 trees in key areas like walking routes to schools. Like many cities, Colton faced challenges, funding for large-scale projects, our community buy-in, especially in underserved neighborhoods, and even coordination across departments within the city. Our solutions came through strategic partnerships and leveraging state, regional, and local resources. So far, the city's measurable impacts to the Urban Heat Resilience Program are 1,000 trees planted, 3.1 million kilowatts of energy saved, 4 million pounds of carbon sequestered, $642,000 in combined energy and community benefits, 1,223 pounds of pollutants absorbed, nearly 9 million gallons of stormwater filtered. These impacts were funded through a mix of city budget allocations, electric and water department contributions, CAL FIRE and California Climate Investment Grants, regional partnerships like San Bernardino Energy Partnership. The program impacts to health, reduced heat-related illnesses, economic, lower utility bills for our residents and businesses, environmental, cleaner air and more green spaces, social, stronger community engagement, and a sense of ownership. In conclusion, the City of Colton's Urban Resilience Program is more than tree planting. It's a holistic climate strategy with proven benefits to health, the environment, the local economy. The program stands as a model for sustainable urban resilience. And by integrating urban forestry, infrastructure upgrades, community action, and implementing strategic climate planning, Colton sets a model for sustainable and resilient cities. With the collaboration and vision, climate adaptation is not only possible, it's powerful. I want to congratulate our Sustainability Utilities team for their proactive efforts to climate protection. The success of our program is a direct result of their assistance to Colton residents in energy efficiency programs and education, for their collaborative efforts in grant funding and partnership opportunities which impact our residents and their quality of life. Again, I want to thank the Mayor's Conference, and I share this award with the employees and residents of Colton.
Congratulations again, Mayor Navarro. This concludes the Small City Awards. Now I would like to recognize our honorable mention winners in the Large City category. Our first at-large city honorable mention winner is Lansing Mayor Andy Shore for his city's food scraps drop-off program. This program is about reducing food waste sent to landfills. Instead, food waste is collected and composted, where it is transformed into nutrient-rich compost. Reducing methane emissions is one of the most impactful short-term climate actions available. And this initiative also reduces landfill waste, cut costs, and contributes to a cleaner environment. Congratulations, Mayor Shore. Our next awardee is Las Vegas Mayor Shelley Berkeley, who is being recognized today for her city composting program. This program seeks to reduce the amount of organic matter set to landfills. This program provides city residents with a free composter and delivers information to residents on how to utilize the composter properly. Mayor Berkeley, congratulations on this initiative. Our next awardee is Lincoln Mayor Lyrian Gaylor Baird, who's being honored today for her city's Heat Pump Incentive Program. This program offers incentives up to $3,800 for city residents who install energy-efficient air source heat pumps. This initiative is about advancing energy efficiency in the residential sector, helping the city meet its goal of 80% emissions reduction by 2050. Congratulations, Mayor. Our next honorable mention winner is Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego for her city's Phoenix SkyTrain. The fully electric people mover at one of the nation's busiest airports reduces emissions, and as the airport grows, because it will continue to grow, allows it to incorporate sustainable energy sources in its operations. Notably, the SkyTrain replaced carbon dioxide emitting buses and supports the airport's plan to reach net zero carbon by 2040. Congratulations, Mayor Gallego. Our final honorable mention winner in the large city category is Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell for his city's residential heat pump incentive program. This program is part of the city's efforts to reduce emissions in the residential sector by 32% by 2030. More than 2,500 heat pump conversions already. The program provides any Seattle homeowner or landlord with an instant rebate of up to $6,000 to incentivize the transition from oil to efficient air source heat pumps. Congratulations, Mayor Harrell, and thank you for your leadership. I am pleased to announce our final winner, first place in the large city category. This is being awarded today to San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie. He's being honored for his city's Clean Power SF. This program, first serving customers in 2016, has helped reduce the city's electricity sector emissions by an astounding 98%. To talk about this innovative program, let's hear directly from the mayor.
Hello, I'm Daniel Lurie, Mayor of San Francisco. On behalf of our city, I want to say thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for awarding San Francisco the 2025 Mayor Climate Protection Award for Large Cities. This award honors San Francisco's climate leadership and our commitment to delivering clean energy that benefits everyone. I am so proud that San Francisco received this award thanks to our local electricity program called Clean Power SF. Through Clean Power SF, we have cut electricity sector emissions by 98%, reached 100% renewable power ahead of schedule, and made clean, reliable, affordable electricity available to over 380,000 households and businesses in our city. Clean Power SF has steadily expanded its customer base and clean energy portfolio while keeping rates affordable. Our city has long been a leader in climate protection and a hub for innovative climate solutions. Once again, I thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors for recognizing San Francisco's work to build a more sustainable future.
Congratulations again to Mayor Lurie on winning this award. This concludes our 2025 Mayor's Climate Action Protection Awards program. Please join me in recognizing today's award winners and in thanking our awards program sponsor. We thank you all. Our next session, Forward Together, Women Mayors on Climate Resilience and Local Innovation, will explore how local leaders are addressing climate challenges and what more they can do to advance solutions in their communities. This discussion is being presented by the USCM Women Mayors Leadership Alliance. Please join me in welcoming USCM Women Mayors Alliance Chair, Albany Mayor Kathy Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Ginther. It's really exciting to be here. Our first panelist is a nationally recognized climate leader and advocate for equity, open space, and housing. She is known for her bold, community-focused leadership, including efforts to achieve 100% clean energy and build long-term environmental resilience. She was also the first woman elected mayor of her city. Please join me in welcoming Boise Mayor Lauren McLean. Also joining this conversation is one of the nation's most respected environmental leaders, a former EPA administrator, and the first White House National Climate Advisor, who I know has a fan base already. There they are. She helped shape the Biden administration's climate agenda and led historic investments in clean energy and resilience. A lifelong public servant and advocate, she continues to champion bold climate action across all levels of government. Please join me in welcoming Managing Co-Chair of America is All In, Gina McCarthy. So this is really a critical conversation that mayors need to lead. And I served on a panel on climate resiliency in New York that was put on by Cornell a couple of months ago, along with some of my fellow mayors. And we were looking out at a room full of people who were working on resilience and climate issues, many of whom had had their programs completely defunded, if not cut back significantly. And they were looking to the mayors and asking us, what can you do at the local level to keep this important work moving forward? And so we're going to explore in this panel how local leaders are stepping up and what more they can do to create stronger, more resilient communities. So Mayor McLean, can you share how Boise's local climate initiatives are driving tangible progress in your community?
Well, happy to. But first, I want to say thank you for having me today. It's really an honor to be here, flanked by both of you, to talk about what we're doing in Boise, but really to have a conversation about what's happening around the country. And to be next to you, too, who helped us so much make progress, with the question being tangible progress the last couple of years at the city of Boise. We set a climate action goal and created a roadmap, and those goals have two different layers. First, we had municipal government goals because we wanted to figure it out ourselves, lead by example, and then take those learnings and that experience and then be able to do this work community-wide. And so they're the goals of 100% clean electricity at the city level by 2030, 2035 for the community, carbon neutrality city level 2035, 2050 for the community. But within that, we have a whole bunch of layers of actions that were developed side by side with residents, and some of those that we've made progress towards. 97% of our residents are using the new composting program we have. That's a big piece. We have 82% of our residents that voted yes for a clean water and climate action bond that's making it possible for us to pilot side by side with Micron Technology as they build a CHIPS facility, water renewal technology, and then bring that to scale, creating clean water into the future for industrial use in our city. We have goals to double our tree canopy. We talked about that in the most recent panel that we were on together, and we're on track to do that and have already met our goal that was due by 2030 of planting a seedling in the National Forest above Boise for every resident in Boise. So all of these steps are made possible with the residents who helped us create the plan, engaging side by side with us to help us meet the goals. One more thing I wanted to add is that we developed the first ever power purchase agreement in Idaho, which many people could do, but nobody in the state had ever done this. And so now our airport and our water renewal facilities are powered by 100% clean electricity, moving us along and meeting those goals that we have by 2030.
That's great. And Gina, given the current federal pullback on climate action, in an ideal world, how should national policies and partnerships be shaped to better support and amplify what we're trying to do on the local level?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. We don't live in an ideal world. Wished I did, but I don't. And you're right that it's very challenging now at the federal level. The important thing to remember, and the reason why I think we're all sitting here, is that we do not necessarily have to rely on the federal government to get work done in the United States of America, period. So we've had many times when the federal government decided that they didn't want to play. And so what we really need to do is to continue to work at how we work together, how we form partnerships. I'm enormously impressed by the group that we just spoke with. what is happening at the local level, how you're finding an ability to support those efforts in a strategic way. And I think that's the key. People need to understand that work can still go on in local communities. We can find a path forward. We are also seeing at the federal level that despite efforts to say that we're not going to fund a lot of things, little funding is leaking out. Because it matters. It's about people. It's about their health, their well-being. It is not necessarily about greenhouse gas reductions, right? So all of it has to be about who are we supporting? What are we amplifying here? What does that mean to human beings that are really struggling? And how do we use that opportunity to actually advance efforts regardless of what the federal government is interested in funding? And that's the key. And I think a lot of it's the business community. The business community has to participate, has to be part of the process. And I think we're seeing that beginning to happen more and more. So I'm pretty excited, actually.
Well, building on that, we've seen how climate conditions and political landscapes can shift rapidly, including periods when federal priorities don't necessarily fully align with the urgent climate action that we're seeking to undertake in our communities. So what strategies have you found that have been most effective in gaining or at least keeping that momentum at the local level and that sense of urgency that we feel at the local level and want to impact at the national level, especially when we're navigating sort of some of these competing priorities? What are some things that are working in Boise?
Yeah, that's a great question. I want to pick up on a couple of things that Gina said too. And first of all, this work is about dollars and cents for our residents, economic opportunity and success in the long run, and of course about protecting our health and well-being. But we're successful in this work because residents have been a part of it from the beginning. They wanted us to lead. They understand that these steps are setting us up for long-term success. We want to be a climate winner. Our region, our city wants to be a climate winner, and they want us to lead. But Boiseans are also saying, and we will partner to get us there. So a couple things that I think are really important to point out. As we're going through the administrative transition, I had a lot of folks saying, well, what now? What now? We've made so much progress. I had media asking, local media. I had residents really concerned that we would lose momentum and lose progress. And I would point out, and I want to be really clear, we set these goals as a community in the first Trump administration. And we were working and committed to meeting these goals without federal partnership. And yes, the 4 years of the Biden administration were wonderful. They helped us advance things more quickly. We mirrored parts of our plan to the priorities the administration had, and we're doing that again. So a big part of our plan is about 15% of the work that we will do to mitigate carbon is clean heat from geothermal. We have a natural geothermal resource. I try to talk about it as many times as possible because we want to grow the program. We also need to modernize it. But as we've looked to how we expand that, we have 90 buildings downtown that are heated with geothermal heat. We have 17 buildings, our city's growing rapidly, that are on the wait list. Many others that are interested, and we're working on innovating to use geothermal in the long run to also cool buildings and provide it to affordable housing. But by a donation that we just received from a holder of water rights, we received a geothermal donation that gives us potentially 4 times the amount of geothermal resource that we've had once we walk through and work through the legal issues around the water right. And that will allow us to provide those 17 buildings and more with clean heat, in the long run meeting our goals. We know that this is a priority and interest in the Trump administration, so we'll be working with Department of Energy, urging them to partner and work alongside us to advance the technology around a resource, at the same time working with our residents to meet those goals that we've had.
Yeah. Gina, what are you seeing in this space as we're trying to navigate the changing and shifting priorities?
What I'm trying to see is how do we actually talk a lot more about policies and a lot less about politics? I'm done with a discussion about whether or not climate change is real, whether there are opportunities out there. What we see now with mayors like you is that they're doing things. Change is happening. Now, we don't need to raise a big flag and wave it around as if it's something unique or damaging, however you look at it. We just have to really work together. And one of the things I've always tried to do is to recognize that, you know, greenhouse gas emissions are irrelevant to most people, right? You can't see them, you can't taste them, you can feel them. You can see the damage that results from it. But the way in which you can actually continue to motivate is more to talk about, what does this do for the health of your family? What does it do for their safety and security? What does it do for the economic opportunities that people need to see? What does it do to grow more jobs? Those are real, tangible benefits. That's why we have to talk about those well before we start talking about climate, because it just doesn't bode well to spend our time trying to get people to understand concepts they may not be ready to deal with. And I'm not going to fight about this administration or whether they think climate change is real, but I will fight for the health and safety and security of our communities. That's what mayors do. That's what I want to do too.
And you know, you touched on this a little bit, but you know, climate challenges are growing more complex.
Yeah, they are.
And when you focus on what those challenges are, you know, it really helps us to be able to talk about developing adaptable strategies that will ensure that our cities and the broader climate movement is prepared for the environmental future. So, Mayor, how is Boise implementing these adaptive changes? And maybe you could use some specific stories about how you're then connecting that to the environmental risks and uncertainties in a tangible way within your community, sort of detached from this broader discussion about global climate change and whether it's real or not.
Sure, and you know, I'd say that we've always worked on this. I've always worked on this issue with the belief that this is about people and the place that we love. And so putting in that context of taking care of the health of our communities, taking care of the place that we love, we're advancing climate work at the same time. So I'll share a couple examples. I have a goal of making sure that every kiddo in our city can walk safely to a park within 10 minutes. So we've done heat maps for parks, just like we've done for trees, and we know where we need to acquire property so that kids in those areas that can't right now will be able to walk safely to a park within 10 minutes. When that happens, we've set aside more land that allows for green spaces, allows for natural plants, allows for play and community development. So we're advancing climate goals, but we're also creating and enhancing community connectivity and connection between people at a time that's so important. We have a community that continues to stand up for open space and clean preservation, clean water action. And so over the years, we've set aside thousands of acres in the foothills above the city. It's a nature-based solution. Open space is good for the air. It provides fire mitigation in an era of increased risk of wildfire. It creates places for people to play and rest and relax, and importantly, to connect, and then to realize how all of that ties to our long-term climate goals. And finally, I want to say we need people to help us do this work, to protect people and protect the place that we love. So we have the Climate Action Roadmap, but we started a Climate Action Committee. And I thought at the beginning we'd have maybe spots for 12 people. We had over 200 folks put in like a serious application for this committee, so we expanded it to 20 people. And they have been tasked this calendar year going out to the community, holding listening sessions, proposing ideas and getting feedback. And they're providing to me a toolkit that they're creating for residents of Boise to be able to work side by side with the city to meet our climate goals. Those will be really adaptive based on what residents are seeing and wanting now and then thinking that we need. And then we're going to weave that into the work that the city does so that they can help us help each and every one of us ensure that our city thrives in the long run.
That's great. And you know, in Mayor Buffalo's session, we did hear about some
Yeah, we did.
specific strategies. So, Gina, maybe you could talk a little bit about what are you seeing as the effective strategies that are proving, you know, most popular, most effective in fostering sort of adaptability across the space.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is to deal with communities that have been left behind, and there are many. We talked about this a little bit because Mayor, you and others have great strategies to try to engage communities more effectively and treat people with both the sensitivity and encouragement that they need to understand that there are opportunities for them. And you know, you talked about it with trees. That's an adaptive and a resilient strategy, and it matters in an urban community. Yeah. Matters big time for both health and safety. And so I think there are many ways in which you can start dealing with this challenge, but I think it begins with organizing around communities. You can't just decide that you have a community that you've decided you're going to go and do something. It needs to be engagement, active engagement, real ideas, real opportunities for people to intervene and to talk about what's important to them. I find that one of the biggest challenges that I work on now and deal with is basically the international challenge, not just a national domestic challenge. It's food and water. It's as simple as that. When you put up something that talks about communities, the first thing I think of are the people that don't have enough food to eat. And how do you get it to them? They don't have clean water to drink. How do you do that? That's not just in other countries. That's in the United States of America. That's where we need to be resilient. And that really begins by engaging communities in an effective way, a genuine way, and then it means gathering the right investment opportunities that you have to actually make a difference in those communities. And I think it's enormously challenging, frankly, to do all of these efforts at once, but it's inspiring to see change happen.
Can I add something to that too? Because there's work across all of these different areas, but it's so integrated to all the work of running a city and being in community. So you bring up food, and that's such a great one, because we learned during COVID that there were indeed food needs in our community. Yeah. We have city land that are now open for community gardens. Refugees farm them and have started a CSA, Global Gardens. And the market that is now working to be a food hub, worked with another nonprofit. All we did as a city was provide them funding for a van, and now they have 15 stops in areas that don't have access to farmers markets and high quality local produce and other foods, and 15 stops throughout the week. They're able to, and it's a pay as you can farmers market in these neighborhoods became possible because of a small investment that the city made with a van. But that's it's layered in all the work that the city does, if we can think beyond the greenhouse gases, but really think about people and place and the impact we can have as mayors with all these different levers.
I think you make just an absolutely spot on. One of the things about change is that you don't have to start off thinking about a monumental change, because change is incremental. But as soon as you start moving forward and give people an opportunity, they grab it and run with this. Yeah. This isn't about doing things for them, it's doing things with them. And that's why I'm here. This is about mayors. This is what mayors do. It's exciting to be here. And the work I'm doing with America's All In is all about climate mayors working and doing this work together. It's inspirational to see just how little you need to do to make a huge difference in another human being's life. And why else would we be here if we didn't want that to be our mission, right?
Well, if you're not inspired by that, you can come and hear more from Gina. We're going to continue this conversation during the Environmental Standing Committee meeting. We are only halfway through our first day, and I've already found my first thing that I'm stealing from a mayor, and that is creating a youth job corps around environment,
cool.
which I thought was a phenomenal idea.
Dubuque.
So thank you. I think that was the mayor of Dubuque. So I've already stolen one idea. You guys should be keeping track of how many you're stealing. I want to thank Mayor McLean and Gina for joining us and for your insights in this conversation. Your leadership on these issues really motivates us, and we're so grateful for you to be advancing the solutions that build stronger, more resilient cities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of our initiatives this year is to encourage and strengthen state mayoral alliances. Without question, the actions of governors and state houses can greatly impact our cities, especially in these controversial times. Several years ago, Ohio cities formed the Ohio Mayors Alliance, giving more purpose and structure to what once was our informal collaboration. It has yielded results and strengthened our relationship with our governor and legislature. In fact, we have just signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ohio Mayors Alliance to work together on this initiative. As a conference, we want to encourage and strengthen these mayoral state alliances to prepare for the future. That's why I want to announce that we are forming a mayoral state alliances task force. With that, let's get started. I'm pleased to be joined by Scranton Mayor Paige Cognetti, Riverside Mayor Patricia Locke Dawson, and Ohio's own Lima Mayor Sharita Smith. Mayor Smith, I mentioned the Ohio Mayors Alliance. Can you give us a brief history of how and why the alliance was formed and how it's structured?
Yes, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. And thank you, Mayor Ginther, for your leadership and guiding this group over the last year. The Ohio Mayors Alliance started in 2016 as a way for Ohio mayors to be more engaged with state legislatures about policy decisions that were being made at the Ohio State House. At the time, we just seen our local government fund decrease by more than half, and that had real consequences for our cities. Talk about the ability to maintain and invest in infrastructure, provide public services, and it was an issue that really affected mayors on both sides of the aisles, and so mayors needed to engage more with the State House, so the Ohio Mayors Alliance was formed. Our structure is we all pay dues, which helps us have a full-time staff. And so we have 3 full-time staff individuals and a part-time lobbyist. But we've also, because of our staff, been able to leverage those funds, and we get support from other foundations as well.
And then because it's made up of the 30 largest cities in Ohio, it's bipartisan. You have Republican and Democratic mayors, which is so important in Ohio and in Pennsylvania and California, where you may or may not be of the same party and same majorities as the legislature and the governor's office. So Pennsylvania, Mayor Cognetti, what are you all considering for an alliance and why you think it's important?
So Pennsylvania, as you all know, has Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and then a lot of state in between. And when I became mayor and working with other mayors, it seems that sometimes the cities that are large, Scranton has 80,000 people, Allentown 120,000 people, there's a lot of folks there, but before these last few years, as we mayors have come together, we kind of got lost in the shuffle between the Philadelphia and the Pittsburgh, and there's 2,500 boroughs in Pennsylvania. We have a great municipal league, but the boroughs often have different issues than we face in our urban centers. So in 2023, we created an informal Pennsylvania Mayors Alliance. Mayor Denise Sarachi from Lancaster, Mayor Matt Turk from Allentown, and I helped spearhead that. And we get together every month on a call. We meet quarterly with the governor or the lieutenant governor. So we've started, but what we don't have is what the Ohio Alliance has, which is dues and formal staff. So we need the resources to be able to move more nimbly, and we're all very strapped for time. We need more resources from a staffing perspective. So we've been working with the conference, with President Ginther, with Ohio and North Carolina, Texas, California, other places that have strong alliances to shape what in Pennsylvania we think can be the solution in making sure that all cities' voices are heard in Pennsylvania. It's a big state, it's 13 million people, and if we don't come together to solve our problems, we're not going to be able to have the voices in Harrisburg that we need.
So important. And, California, there may be different dynamics. You're currently the chair of the California Big City Mayors Group. Tell us how you guys are organized and what kind of issues you're addressing and how strengthening the group could be helpful. I know preemption may mean one thing in Ohio, Pennsylvania, but something quite different in California. We've had those conversations.
Yeah, we do. And thank you, Mayor Ginther. And before I get started, I just want to say happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it's a state holiday in California, but the California Big City Mayors Coalition is the coalition of the 13 largest cities in California, and that's any city over 300,000. And we represent 11 million residents collectively, which is about almost 30% of the state. So we're a big group. So we have an outsized sort of influence on the state legislature and issues driving within the state. But it's all really done in a very California way. We all kind of get together very casually, and we elect a president of the coalition every year. We meet bi-weekly. It's on the president, like me this year, the chair. It's on me and my staff to run the thing for the year, right? And that has some limitations because we lack consistency when mayors come in and out. We lack funding, we lack organization. And I will say my staff has done an amazing job. They've done well. And this group has done an amazing job. Despite not having an official alliance, California Big City Mayors have brought in $8 billion of funding for housing and homeless programs over the past few years. We've sheltered 152,000 people. We've created 17,000 beds. We've advocated for mental health care changes. Some of the most draconian mental health legislation we swept out. We got new stuff in. So despite not being officially an alliance, we're still very effective. But what could we do if we were, we had staff and funding and access?
There's so many great benefits to having organized state alliances and groups. In Ohio, it's helped us increase membership, not just in OMA, but the U.S. Conference of Mayors. It's helped us organize to lobby effectively federal lawmakers. It's one thing if there's only big city mayors coming to talk to folks. It's another thing if you have the 30 largest cities and other communities in Pennsylvania, California, and Ohio. Mayor Smith, speak to a couple of accomplishments or ways you think OMA has made a difference either on the state or the federal level.
Yeah, so one of the things that we did through engagement with OMA was advocating, along with other mayors across other states, for direct funding for cities for ARPA dollars, which provided, a direct impact for our residents. Also, after the mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio, we were able to advocate with our legislature for some gun reform changes. And while we didn't get everything that we wanted, we did amplify the voice of the mayors that this was a real issue that we needed the state to deal with in a bipartisan way. In addition to that, we've been able to work with some local nonprofits on workforce and education issues, bringing funding back to our cities to amplify the importance for families to complete the FAFSA, to apply for federal aid. So there's a plethora of issues, but they're all issues, as I said before, that affect all of us, you know, whether you are Democrat, Republican, or independent. And for me, that has been the value of the Ohio Mayors Alliance, is that understanding as mayors, we don't have a choice to be political. We have to govern, and we have to do what's best for our cities and our residents. And these kind of organizations helps keep that front and center.
Absolutely. Our final question to Mayors Cognetti and Mayor Locke Dawson. What issues do you see coming down the road from your states that represent the largest opportunity for collaboration or the greatest need to counteractions? Mayor Cognetti?
Sure. First, I would just say that the alliance that we have, however informal, has given a place to go for new mayors. We have a new mayor incoming in Erie, for example. She has already reached out to us individually and as an alliance. So it gives a place to go for people that are looking for that camaraderie that we all have here at the U.S. conference. So building an alliance in the state that mirrors what we can do nationwide as the conference is really important to us in Pennsylvania. In terms of issues, we already have state preemption on gun laws. And that is one item that as an alliance we talk about, and we are able to come to a consensus that we need to do something about. Whereas when it's kind of the whole state with all of the boroughs across the Commonwealth, there isn't as much appetite to tackle some of these more issues that become partisan sometimes when you get to the state legislature. There's a whole host of things that are on all of our minds. You talk about the opportunity zones we talked about this morning, making sure that the governor's office knows that we want to be at the table for those types of things. Housing, all sorts of things where when we are a collective, when we are sitting there with the governor, with the lieutenant governor, we're able to talk in a cohesive voice with the consistent talking points to all of our state reps, our state senators, and of course, lobby our federal legislators. We're stronger that way, and I think we're going to get farther faster in making sure we're protecting our cities. Mayor?
Well, this group, my group, has mostly been focused on housing and homelessness, and that's really galvanized our efforts with the governor and the legislature. That's who we've worked with the most. But this year, under my leadership, I'm calling a summit together. I'm working with Daniel Lurie from San Francisco and Mayor Matt Mahan from San Jose to establish a G7-like summit, or a C13 summit we're calling, California 13, where we're bringing the mayors together to actually do just what you're saying, President Ginther, is what are the top issues that mayors can have an impact on? You know, people have lost faith in their federal and their state leaders. Who do they look to now? Who do they trust? Studies bear this out. They look to the mayors. So how can the mayors get together to drive an action agenda on economic development, on climate and resiliency, wildfire? You know, for us, wildfire and climate is a big thing. So all of those things, I think I would like to move our group beyond just focusing on housing and homelessness because of the power that we have together. We can drive so much.
Mm-hmm. You know, let me say that the conference wants to help any state group. We're announcing the 2 pilot expansions in California and Pennsylvania because of the incredible advocacy of the mayors up here today, and I'm grateful to them. But if there are others that are looking to form a more structured alliance, please let me know. There are a couple of keys, I think, to the success of these alliances. Bipartisanship is critically important. Showing up and holding events with their governor and state houses, however friendly or unfriendly they might be. And the third important piece is developing the strategic responses and campaigns to advance initiatives or counter state house proposals that would hurt cities. We consider the buildup of mayoral state alliances is a multi-year effort within the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We'll be working with California and Pennsylvania for starters, and we'll expand as the opportunities present themselves. But if you are leading a city and a state where you think an alliance like this might make sense, please reach out to let us know. and we look forward to working with you all. I'd mention one other thing. These alliances can help mayors in their greatest time of need. Many of you may not have heard of Springfield, Ohio, before a year or so ago. Mayor Rob Rue was in his first year of his first term, out of town on business because the mayor of the job of Springfield, Ohio is not a full-time paid position. And all of a sudden, his city was thrown into national and international spotlight. City that was struggling, city of about 58,000. And Mayor Rue had it coming at him from all sides. This alliance and the U.S. Conference of Mayors came to his aid, brought mayors from all walks of life, political parties, former governors, former presidents of this organization to his aid, and galvanized the philanthropic community, and were able to provide $100,000 of support for first responders, for translation services, all these critically important things to Mayor Rue in his time of greatest need. That's what these state alliances are all about. Yes, it's about increasing membership, making us greater advocates, more organized and strategic, but also each and every one of us will face a crisis. And by having organized and well-developed state alliances, we can help take care of each other and our cities better. So Mayor Smith, Cognetti, Clark Dawson, thank you for your leadership and participation on this panel today. Thank you for a fantastic first day of our annual meeting. This session is now adjourned.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good to be on here.